Hello, this is Spoon Looters. I'm Emma,
And I'm Karen,
and today we are discussing Class.
which is a spin-off of Doctor Who, which not fantastically written by Moffat, even though we would think he would want to get all of his grabby hands all over everything that's Doctor Who.
He does have some input of it, so there will be probably some Moffat-isms at some point.
Yeah, so if that's your thing, then I guess go for it. But otherwise, the show's main scriptwriter is Patrick Ness, who's a YA fantasy writer,
Yes.
who is pretty critically acclaimed at least. So, I mean, that bodes pretty well for the show, seeing it is trying to target youth, young people.
Yeah, the audience it's targeting is older than the audience that Doctor Who is targeting, primarily because of all the gore that we have seen.
Yeah, I mean, they do not shy away from the gore at all. I've seen a lot of articles about the amount of gore.
Also, they swore, so yeah, that doesn't happen in Doctor Who.
We'll talk about the two first episodes, and our, initial reactions to those, and the characters, and what we think, for now, at least, and what we hope it will continue doing, and what it will not continue doing.
Yes.
And that, hopefully, it will not end up as what Doctor Who currently is, because that would be very sad. Okay, so basically, Class follows 5 teenagers trying to survive. So one of the teenagers is an alien, which the Doctor has saved because his whole race has been killed by another alien race, and sends him to Coal Hill because I want to send you to where my ex-companion, who I probably loved in a romantic way, at least if you listen to Tumblr and see his reactions, is the best idea. So there is a rift in time at Coal Hill, and that's why they have to save Coal Hill, because, the Doctor hates responsibility or some shit. Something like that, right?
Yep. And things keep coming through the hole.
Yes.
So in the first episode, it's the Shadowkin who want to get to the alien teenage boy.
Yes, and his protector.
And his, spoilers, cabinet. His
Cabinet
of souls. Yes.
Oh my god.
First, we got the kind of main character for the first episode, who is April. And she's the most boring person ever.
I mean, if you like Clara, I think you might like April, but we are also of the thought that Clara is really boring, so that's probably why we feel this way, I think.
Well, Series 8 Clara, I think she's more like... Series 9 Clara was more active.
Yeah, to be honest. But yeah, April is our, for the lack of better words, in-house pasty white girl.
Yes, she's the Mary Sue.
Yeah, basically. At least for now. We haven't really had any big conflicts in regard to, the group as a whole in that sense. No, so we don't know if she's going to be, a true Mary Sue. But until now, she's a character with very little personality.
Yeah. She does have a meltdown at one point and just screams at the entire sixth form because they're ignoring her or something.
Because apparently she's so kind and you will ignore everyone who's kind or some shit. It's something like that, she explains, right?
She just complained to her mum that everybody just sees her as kind, and kind is boring. Yeah. But for some reason, nobody's asked her out. Or somebody would have asked her out. She is quite pretty.
Yeah, I would think the same. But yeah, I mean, April is very main character-ish. She's a kind person. She has fairly little characterization, at least in the beginning. So there will probably be some kind of growth arc where she will grow strong and independent.
Yes.
Strong, independent woman, trademark. But yeah, I think both of us agree that she is probably the weakest character, and I think one of the reasons she's one of the weakest characters is also because her actor or actress is not very strong. Now, we can't say for sure if it's direction, like the director's fault or hers, but her acting skills seems to be not the best yet. I mean, she could get better.
There's a lot of eyebrow movement.
Definitely, she relies a lot on over-exaggerated facial expressions, which is kind of it gets old real fast.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. There's not that much to say about April. I mean, it's weird because she's the main character of the first episode, and the only thing that really happens to her is, of course, quite importantly, her heart gets fucked with.
Yes.
In a metaphorical sense, of course.
Well, it's kind of in a physical sense. There's this weird gun teleporter shift, whatever it is. It's a gun. And it kills both the shooter and the shootee. But she got a glancing blow because the alien boy stopped her.
Yeah.
So now she shares a heart with the king of the Shadowkin.
We are not even going to explain the Shadowkin, mainly because they're not really explained very well in the show until now, probably because they're supposed to be a mystery. But basically, they're the big bad of the show, and they were the people who killed all the people of that alien planet. Again, they want the Shadow Cabinet, not Cabinet of Souls. Shadow Cabinet. They want
they want the Labour Party.
Yeah.
They want the Labour Party. They want Jeremy Corbyn and Diane Abbott.
Want them all. Nobody's gonna get this unless they're British. But yeah, they want the Cabinet of Souls for some reason, and apparently the only way you can kill a Shadowkin is with this gun that displaces the Shadowkin in space and time, or it's not very well explained, and it's quite unfortunate because this is why I, for example, like the second episode a lot more than the first one, because the second one is allowed to not begin explaining all kinds of stupid shit that the first one kind of feels like it has to explain, cram a lot of things into very little space, to be honest.
I was kind of disappointed with the whole shadow thing because I feel like they're trying to rip off Vashta Nerada.
Yeah, definitely.
Very badly. They could have just used the Vashta Nerada.
Yeah, definitely. They could have done that.
They wouldn't have been able to steal a cabinet, but they could have had other motivations because they were scarier because they actually killed more people and ate them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's April. I mean, there's not that much to say about her, unfortunately, and that's why it's unfortunate that she's the main character, kind of, because she's boring.
Other than she has a disabled mother who is paralysed from the waist down, it seems like. But she appears for like 2 seconds to do motivational, you're not boring speech, even though she's super boring.
Super boring, let me tell you. That's the first character of the gang. The second character that we meet we meet the others glancingly.
Yes.
But the other character we meet is, of course, the alien, who is called Charlie. What a beautiful alien name.
Yes.
He is apparently from Sheffield, which is totally alien.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I think that was meant to be a joke. I didn't find it very funny.
No, it definitely... I don't know, like... His whole gimmick is that he sounds really posh, right? And so he's asked, like, where the F are you even from, right? That's what's asked of him. And he's like, I'm from Sheffield. And I'm like, Sheffield is not the worst place in the UK to be from. Like, you could have picked a lot of places, like Hull.
Yes. Hull would have been funnier. Because Hull is just Hull.
Yes.
We don't talk about Hull.
But yes, Charlie is an alien prince, and his whole race has been destroyed together with another race. I
don't know, I think they were the same race, it's just that it was a terrorist.
Different people.
Yeah. There was just a terrorist faction within their race, and they were so distracted by the whole terrorism thing that they all got killed by the Shadowkin.
Yeah. And so he has this assistant, totally not slave, who is supposed to protect him, but will also die if she uses any kind of weapons. Yeah, she is not allowed to use physical violence, at least with weapons. She was allowed to use her own fists.
Yes.
And if he dies, she dies. And I think the only time she's allowed to attack anything is if he's attacked first.
Yes.
Because that's at least what's explained in the second episode when they're attacked by that giant dragon thing.
This, basically how this works, she has a creature inserted into her brain, which will eat her brain if she does any of the things that she's not allowed to. Which is slavery.
But apparently nobody else thinks this other than hopefully all of the audience.
I mean, it's not really addressed that much. I feel like the Doctor should have addressed it when surprise, the Doctor turns up in the first episode. But she has... It is slavery. She has to do this thing for the rest of her life, presumably.
Yeah.
Oh, well, for the rest of his life. Anyway.
I mean, is there that much... He's gay, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, I think we are old people. We're not that old. But we are old and jaded people, and therefore whenever we're told that somebody is gay in a show, we think that it's some sort of gimmick, or that people are lying, or whatever.
I mean, it could be on his planet. Either that when you take people to dances or social occasions, you can take whoever you want, and it's not romantic. Or on his planet, nobody cares if you are gay or not gay. That it's just whoever you want to go out with.
That's fine. Yeah.
But he ends up going out to the prom, the autumn prom, with we think he's Polish guy called Matthias.
Yes, Matthias probably. Yeah.
Whose parents are not too happy about having a gay son.
Yes. I mean, it's really sad about Matthias. Here's what's sad. He is one of the best characters. I love him. He does not seem, at least yet, to be a main character. He is not in the second episode at all, and it is very sad, I think. He's just very different from all of the other characters, and I think he's born in Poland and has immigrated with his parents to Britain because he has quite a heavy accent. And I mean, if he'd gone to British school all of his life, he'd probably have lost that accent at some point.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense with, like, the time frame that we're in, because there are a lot of Polish immigrants at the moment.
Yeah.
But his English is fluent. He's just got a Polish accent, basically.
Yeah. It's not that he's shit at English or anything at all. He jokes a lot, and I think he's that in characters that's like, I don't get all of these pop culture references, which, by the way, if any of that, like, the title of the first episode is a pop culture reference, or any of the other stuff that's, like, about around the prom is pop culture references, we're too old and didn't get any of it.
Or too young.
Yeah.
Which would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be very interesting, because this is, again, like, this is obviously not marketed towards us. We're a couple of years too old to be... Of course, we can still enjoy the show, like, we enjoy Doctor Who, and we're definitely not supposed to be the target audience, but it's definitely targeted to a slightly younger audience than us.
Yeah, I think the target audience is between the target audience for Doctor Who and the target audience for Torchwood. It's somewhere in the middle.
But yeah, Mateos is a really nice character that kind of, I mean, break with all of the other characters, who's just, like, funny and nice and normal, which is really great. I think they're also lucky with the fact that he seems to be a very competent actor. But again, we only have 2 episodes. There's not that much to say about him other than the fact that his character was kind of just written away in the second episode. Like, we get a fair amount into the episodes. I think, like, it's 10 minutes before it ends or something, and Charlie's like, oh, well, he's not here because he was grounded. And it's like, he hasn't even been to class! What the F is going on? Like, the people would have been worried, but okay, whatever.
apparently Charlie has his number now. Or whatever.
There's a few gaps in the whole plot where there's a lot of things that just like happens and you sit there and you're like, is there something that's happened like between scenes that we're just not shown that you feel would be quite important to show?
Yes.
Because character development is nice.
Right, so the next character is called Ram Singh. Well, Singh is his last name, and his dad is probably a Sikh, so maybe he's a Sikh, but he doesn't have a turban on, so whatever.
Yeah, he's probably either second, probably most likely third generation immigrant. So he's British, right? Yeah. I mean, he's British. There is no way to get around that. If you don't think so, then, I mean, you're an idiot, but whatever.
Yeah. He's a star footballer. He plays on the school's football team, and he's really, really good, weirdly, but doesn't seem to play for any other team.
Yeah, I mean, when we say star footballer, we mean it. I mean the football in the show. I have not seen people his age who are just people who play on a normal school football team play that well at all. I mean, we're both surprised that he hasn't been scouted. Whatever, we know fairly little about football, to be honest, so.
He's basically the British version of a jock, though we don't have jocks, so it's kind of weird, because he's doing the whole knocking books out of Charlie's hands, and that doesn't happen in sixth form.
No.
It just doesn't.
It's really...
If they were in like lower secondary school, yeah, sure, whatever, you might do that, but people don't carry their books around. They put them in their bag. But his character in the beginning is just being a complete asshole.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the quote unquote popular kid, right?
Yes.
Who has a pretty girlfriend, who's a footballer, who everyone loves, and who is a jerk to all of their quote-unquote nerdy kids.
Yes. He is also paying one of the other characters over FaceTime for help with his homework.
Yeah, so there's that too. At least from my perspective, he's the best written character on the show for now. He has, like, his character development is really, really solid, and we see a very appropriate response to things that happen to him in the show. He's one of the only characters we see with actual PTSD. And I mean, he doesn't get his heart fucked with by Shadowkin. On the other hand, his girlfriend gets murdered in front of him.
Yes.
So
yeah, basically, the Shadowkin appear behind his girlfriend at the prom and stab straight through her, so he gets face full of her blood. And she gets dead and disappears because we can't show bodies in the first episode for some reason. Then he decides to fight the Shadowkin King, who's looking for Charlie. And he gets his leg cut off.
They kind of addresses this a proper way, but also not that much. He gets a prosthetic leg, which you would also get in the real world, but it's also an alien leg that he gets from the doctor, and it's like, your leg will be fine, you just need to practice using it a lot. And, I mean, again, it's difficult to know what's going to happen in this third episode that comes up today on the 29th.
Yes.
But if they stop addressing that because of what happens at the end of episode 2, then I think that is going to be bad, basically.
Yeah. So basically, in episode 2, because of his prosthetic leg and probably his horrible PTSD at that point, he's really, really bad at football because his leg is not working for him. And one of the coaches is completely horrible to him about it. Not that they don't know that he's got a prosthetic leg, but they do know that his girlfriend is missing, in air quotes, since they can't really say, oh, she was killed by an alien. So everyone, apart from the people who know about the whole alien thing, just think that he's upset about his girlfriend being missing. So we get some character development there, because he has to actually try and make his leg work. And the whole episode is him, an arc, which ends with him finally getting to grips with this new leg.
Yeah, at least kind of, right? At the end, there is a scene with his dad that they do because they're reminded of how he played football when he was younger, where he kicks a football towards a water bottle and tries to hit it. And of course, the last shot is him actually hitting the water bottle. And I mean, this is not, of course, for his character, this is very important. For big arc plot, probably not that important. But I mean, the hope is that it shows that he can get to grips with his leg, but that he will still have issues for a couple of episodes at least.
He's the main character in the second episode, in which there is a monster that is skinning people, and in the beginning, Ram thinks that it's his PTSD that's making him go completely nuts. But eventually he realizes that, no, people are actually being skinned and eaten.
Yeah.
And it turns out it's the coach that's being a not very nice person. Who's he's not doing it, but he's involved with the monster that's doing it.
Yeah, so the coach is basically a jerk, but that shouldn't surprise that many, like, even from the beginning of the episode. He seems like an a-hole. I mean, to be honest, real world talk here. I haven't been on a sports team, but I know enough about sports that if he was a coach in real life, he would have a real shit team. Because coaches are harsh, but they also understand that you have to deal properly with players' grief. And this coach does not. He's like, fuck you. I'm just gonna yell at you and hope it gets better, and I'm gonna threaten to throw you off the team because you're sad about your girlfriend. Yeah. Like, he's what, 16, 17? Like,
yeah, he'll be, 16 probably.
I mean, his reactions are very normal for his age. He's not a professional footballer. He's not an adult. So, I mean, the way that the coach treats the players is pretty stupid, to be honest. And the way that, like, the players react towards their personal issues seems very normal for the age, basically.
But what's strange about the coach is that he's a coach and not a teacher, because that's not a thing that happens in British high schools. He would have been a PE teacher, not a coach. It's not like America where they employ coaches just for, like, their teams. It's what I think that happens.
Yeah, I think that's what happens too, as far as I know.
But yeah, he would have been a teacher, but he doesn't seem to be a teacher because he doesn't know any of the other students.
One of the characters is also like, you're not really a teacher, are you? Because he's a coach. So that kind of associates him with only being a coach.
I just find that a bit strange because it's Britain and not America.
Yeah, basically.
I'm not sure if somebody on the writing team has, like, an American influence, but there seems to be a lot of American stuff, like from American high schools that's coming through.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the reasons that they do this, and I kind of wanted to talk about this, is if you don't know that much about British TV, this is shown on BBC Three, which doesn't actually... This is a very recent development. They don't have an actual channel anymore. They only show stuff on BBC iPlayer, that's what we call it here. So it's basically kind of a streaming service, kind of. Very heavy on the kind of part, like Netflix. So if you pay for your TV license, you can watch whatever's being shown on all of the BBC channels.
Mostly BBC iPlayer is people use it as a catch-up thing. So if you've missed Emmerdale, you can go... Is Emmerdale even on BBC? If you've missed EastEnders,
because you want to watch that show for some reason,
you can go catch up to it.
But the thing is, at least from my knowledge, the show is coming to America sometime next year, and I think it's going to be on, like, American TV. And Doctor Who has had this thing for a while now, where they have definitely targeted American audiences quite heavily. I don't think American audiences realize this, but Doctor Who is not that, like, it's still popular, that's not it, but it's not that popular anymore in Britain. There are a lot of people who are not that happy about the show, especially people around our age. There's a lot of people who have a lot of issues that I think, at least from what I've seen on internet, people in America do not have the same views. And not to sound really arrogant or rude, but I mean, it might be that we have, like, we are a little more hush.
Yeah, I think we have different standards to what some the American viewers are used to in their TV viewingness.
Definitely. Like, it's not to say that there aren't extremely good American TV shows. It's just, I mean, you are talking about Europe as a continent, so to say. We do not have as much money put aside to TV stuff. So, I mean, of all of the European countries, Britain is definitely the people who do most high-produced TV shows. And even somebody who lives in Britain, we don't get that many shows every year that are, like, very highly produced and get, like, big screenwriters and big directors on it. But when we do get stuff like Downton Abbey, for example, which is very highly regarded. There are very few big name shows from Britain that don't have really high quality. Basically, when you get less produced, you care more about producing good stuff, but still we have shit like EastEnders, so I mean, at least that doesn't...
People gotta have their soaps.
I know. Britain and their soaps, man. You love them so much.
Yes.
But that's beside the point. Look forward to the show coming out in the US. I think there is some stuff happening that you'll definitely love.
Although some of you may have totally legally accessed it already.
Totally legally. Ram is a person who gets the most character development, of course, because he has basically a whole episode dedicated to him. And I think he's definitely the most interesting character for now. Like, he has a person... He was shown very much his external person, or the person he shows to other people, but also his internal person, a person who he really is. And that makes his character very strong. Added to that his actor seems to really get his character very, very well. That's really nice. I would also like to mention another thing for all of the social justice warriors who are totally watching this, that the actor is neither Indian nor Pakistani. He's part Egyptian. Maybe some of you should take issue with that. I don't, though. I don't think any of us take issue with that at all.
No.
He's a really good actor, like, extremely good, and that's all that matters. Of course.
And they don't... Well, apart from one of the other characters, they don't really talk about race. Race isn't an issue.
No, I mean, we're also... Which is very apt, because it's in London, and there are a lot of Indian and Pakistani people, or people of Indian and Pakistani descent in London, especially, but also in general in the UK. It's the same you will see with the black characters, or character, there's only one for now.
Well, I suppose it's her and her mother.
Yeah, but that's not mentioned either at all, other than by the character herself.
So the black characters that we're actually talking about, she is called Tanya, and she is an overachiever. She's about 14, we think.
She says she's 14, I think, or the other character says she's 14 or something.
So she's 14, but she's so clever, or either she's so clever or her mum forces her to do so much homework that she's been moved up 2 years, so she's now in 6th form and doesn't seem to have any friends.
Yeah, I think that's actually very well done, because a lot of the time when you have people who are overachievers, they sometimes have issues finding friends, either because people are not that keen on being friends with people who are 2 years younger than them, but also because there is a level of, I mean, I'm not saying that 16 years old are the most mature of people, but there is still a level of emotional and mental maturity, and you can definitely see that in her characterization.
I think she's a little too normal for an overachiever.
Yeah,
because usually this is a really bad stereotype, but usually they're quite socially inept. She doesn't seem to be socially inept, she just seems to have not made any friends yet.
Mainly because of her mother, who is a very strict Nigerian mother, and I will tell you, that is a very, very apt portrayal.
Yeah. She is probably a first-generation immigrant.
Yeah.
Because that's generally what happens.
Definitely.
They become tiger mothers.
Yeah. Also based on the fact that her mother has, like, a very heavy Nigerian accent.
Yeah. It seems what probably happened is a mum came over either when she was when Tanya was a baby or before she was born, because Tanya does not have that much of a
she doesn't have
a Nigerian accent.
She's a perfect British accent, basically.
Well, London accent.
London accent, yeah. Well, RP. Or does she do RP?
No, she does not do RP.
Okay.
Charlie's RP.
Yeah, Charlie's definitely RP.
Oh yeah, RP is received pronunciation. It's what Prince William does. There's higher RP, which is what the Queen does, because the Queen is posher than William.
Yes. I mean, the best way to describe received pronunciation is that that's kind of it's what you're taught in acting school in Britain to speak as, because when you're an actor who is not going to do character portrayals, that is mainly what you're going to be expected to speak like. Even if you're Scottish, you will still kind of be forced to speak RP when you're at acting school.
For example, David Tennant.
Yes, who is definitely Scottish,
yes,
and speaks very, very English. But he is not. He's very Scottish. A lot of people, you will hear their accent, even when they speak normally in interviews and stuff, and they will sound very English, but a lot of them aren't from England or from posh areas of England. Famously, if you want to hear somebody who doesn't speak RP, Sean Bean is really good to go for, because he's a proud Northerner. Yes. He does not care about your RP, let me tell you. This is very obvious, especially on Game of Thrones, where he's the only one of the British actors who can actually do, like, a quote-unquote Northern accent. All of the others are...
Even though there are more than one Northern accent.
Yes, that is important. It's the same with Scottish.
Even, like, he has a Yorkshire accent. Even within Yorkshire, there are different accents. I am from Yorkshire. I apparently sound really posh for Yorkshire.
I wouldn't know. I'm Danish. I just know that you don't sound Glaswegian. And that's the most important thing for everyone, I think.
Yes. But yeah, Tanya is kind of a social justice warrior. In her first conversation is with April, and she says, "Oh, we've just failed the Bechdel test."
Yeah.
And then later on, when she's talking to Ram, she says something about, let's talk about stuff other than what the white people are doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's mainly in the first episode that she's like this, so it's difficult to figure out whether or not they're going to continue this characterization, but the thing about it is that it's not like it's bad, because there are people like that out there, obviously.
Just go look at Tumblr.
But the problem is that we still haven't gotten an explanation to why she acts like that. And for some of you, this might be very obvious, but it should still be portrayed to the audience that, oh, this is why she does these things. Because nobody just does a thing, well, unless you're a psychopath, but she's not a psychopath. You don't do things just cause it's fun or anything.
I mean, it's not as if her dad is dead, but he wasn't murdered by white people or anything. He just had a stroke in the night.
Yeah, and it's also fine if it's just because she's, like, experienced, or just, quote-unquote, just experienced, like, casual racism, or just racism in general through her life. If it's just that you're going to portray, like, have a scene or two where somebody's being racist to her, that explains to the audience why she might dislike white people. And also, seeing as that she is the age she is, it's quite normal for people that age, that they are very black and white in how they view the world. She's 14. That's what 14-years-old do.
Yep.
Basically. But yeah, Tanya is also a bit whiny, to be honest.
She complains about her mum like half the time that she's there, because her mum won't let her out because her mum's a tiger mum and she needs to stay in and do homework, and she can't be... she's talking to a boy on the internet.
Gasp! It's horrible! And every time she has to sneak out, I would assume, from home, she keeps complaining to the group about, like, her mom. Like, do you not know that my mom will be really angry at me? And as an audience, you just sit there being like, that's not really their problem, my friend.
It seems like her mum's not very observant, because she sneaked out about 4 times.
Basically, yeah.
So her mum must just... And when she was getting attacked by the Shadowkin in her own bedroom, her mum didn't come in until after she'd nearly been killed and there was mess everywhere. And she was more concerned about the boy on her computer screen.
Yeah, which is Ram, by the way. As we've explained before.
We think that Ram and her are probably gonna get together.
I mean, there is a lot of chemistry between it doesn't have to be... I don't think their chemistry right now is extremely romantic or anything, but there is definitely a chemistry in which their characters fit very well together. There is also the fact that they're being fairly intimate, at least with their personal experiences.
Yep.
About talking about those stuff with each other.
Or not talking, as the case may be.
Yeah, basically. Tanya is one of the only characters who does not try and get Ram to talk about what has happened to him after the autumn prom. And he's very happy about that, but he's also very confused because he's used to people keep bucking him about, like, you have to talk to me about this. So there's definitely that. I have heard some people talk about, like, Ram and April getting together, which in our brains makes no sense. They have, like, limited interaction and...
Yeah, they've barely even spoken to each other.
Yeah.
So... yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't see. I mean, they could do some character development, but I just find it quite sad. I kind of like the idea of Tanya and Ram. I also think character-wise, I mean, this should probably be for another time when the series is over, but character-wise, from what we've seen until now, Ram and April just... I think it would end pretty badly if they ended up together. It's not a case of they're too different, it's more a case of their differences does not fit together, basically. The 2 last characters that we're going to talk about are not, like, main characters. The last one definitely isn't. No. But, Miss Quill.
Yes, Miss Quill is the person who's a slave to Charlie, basically. Let's not mince words. She is pretending to be a teacher. And she hates it. Very clearly hates it. Her character is a bit weird because she's very 2-dimensional. She's just not very nice person. Probably not a very good teacher. She's very intelligent. She was the leader of... It was classed as a terrorist organisation, but she thought of herself as a freedom fighter. So she clearly cares about some things and some people. I think she's probably just hiding it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's going to be a character arc of her basically being like, I don't care about these kids, and then at the end she realizes she actually cares about these damn kids. She's very self-preserving, right? She cares a lot about herself surviving, which, I mean, is acceptable, I guess.
She's Slytherin, basically.
Yeah. She is a character who kind of made all of this happen, in the sense at least that she, in the beginning of the show, we see her killing, quote unquote, killing a student that is, as he's not important at all, but basically that sets her character very well. She does not mind sacrificing others to survive when she knows that somebody has to die, at least.
But when she knows that she will die, she wants to, in quotes, die well.
Definitely. She's that kind of character who's
she wants to go down fighting.
She's a Viking. Basically, she's a Viking.
Yes.
Without the raiding part, she doesn't do any raiding.
She's... I think they're trying to characterize her as very, very lonely. Because at one point in the second episode, she tries to bang a robot.
I mean, to her defense, she doesn't know it's a robot, but still, she tries to bang a guy she has no interaction with and earlier wanted to kill. So, I mean, that's
and
a
then
lot.
she does let a dragon try and eat him. So it shows that even if she wants to bang you, she will still let a dragon eat you.
Yep, basically. I mean, there is no other way to.
She also eats a lot of chocolate. She just had a massive bar of chocolate and she was just biting chunks of it.
Comfort eating.
Yes.
It's very good. At least she's not comfort killing.
Yes.
Which is always nice. I mean, there's not that much to say about Quill. Her character is a bit of a mess right now, but at least she has, like, character pointers compared to somebody like April, where you're like, well, you're just... That person with a fucked up hat again.
I think the problem with Quill, again, is that her as a teacher, teachers aren't allowed to get away with the stuff that she does.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a lot better if they had casted her as a substitute, right?
Yeah,
I mean, even
or
then...
as the head teacher.
Yeah.
Because as a head teacher, she could get away with whatever she wanted, within reason.
Within reason.
Within some reason. But yeah, she's just awful to her students. I don't think she teaches very much. She might be a substitute teacher, actually.
Yeah. I mean, what she does is just write, like, maths formulas on the blackboard, because apparently people still have those in classes. I don't know, it's a long time since I've been to school.
Well, considering they're meant to have just renovated Coal Hill.
Yeah, no.
No, they wouldn't have ever put a blackboard in there.
But yeah, she writes really difficult formulas in a blackboard and then makes a student waste all the time solving it. I don't know how long classes are here in the UK, but like 45
generally
minutes,
an hour.
Okay, an hour. That must suck. I mean, it must suck to do that for an hour, but whatever. That's her way of teaching, apparently, because that's going to help them in the future or something. The last character, if you do not feel like you have been spoiled enough and you want me to give you another spoiler warning. Spoilers for a character that somehow you must have missed on the internet as showing up in this episode, but whatever. And you don't want to be spoiled to this single most important, apparently, character is mute or go away. Please don't go away. The character is a doctor. The doctor, of course, has to show up because we all need to know it's a tie-in for some reason.
Yep.
I mean, to be honest, it's not that important to know it's a tie-in. You can easily watch this without ever having watched Doctor Who. It's not difficult to get into at all.
Yeah. So it's Dr. Ex Machina, basically.
Yeah, and it's not even Dr. Ex Machina once. It's like I know that the whole thing with the Doctor is that it's Dr. Ex Machina, but it's like Dr. Ex Machina twice. First, there's a flashback where the Doctor saves Charlie and Miss Quill, which is Dr. Ex Machina, the last two surviving people on from their planet. And then he saves them again from the Shadowkin at Coal Hill at the Autumn Prom.
Yeah, it's after Miss Quill said, well, we'll just have to die well. And he's like, well, how about not dying well? So yeah, he does his usual speech to the Shadowkin, and then does some stuff with the lights, which makes them go away, which is a really simple thing to defeat them, basically. Then he fixes Ram's leg with a prosthetic thing, and then he gives them another speech about having to defend the school.
Or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, he's just there to be like, this is what you have to do because apparently I'm grieving. I'm not going to do my job properly by actually making the Shadowkin go away. But I mean, whatever, right? It's a doctor.
He goes and stares at a board with, presumably they're old teachers' names, and there's Danny Pink and Clara Oswald on their names on it. So he has a moment of fawning over Clara.
Yeah, basically. There's also a few other names on that list that some people have said are, again, other characters from Doctor Who. But, I mean, some of them are from Classic Who, and again, we're terrible people who are ignorant of Classic Who.
Yes.
Unfortunately. for all of you lovely people. But yeah, like, the Doctor's just there to be like, hey, Doctor Who spin-off, tie-in, whatever. I am the Doctor, and I don't have my sonic sunglasses anymore. Oh my god, thank you that they got rid of that. We could spend a whole hour just talking about how stupid those things are, but that's not what the show is about. Yes. So there's not much else to say about it, just so you know the Doctor shows up if that annoys you. Now you're aware that he...
Don't watch the first episode.
I mean, the first episode isn't really that important. You could just read the summary of the first episode and then watch the second one. The second one is far better than the first one, to be honest. That's the characters. There are a few other characters that aren't that important. That's basically parents. Yes. That's the only other characters. And a nice vice, whatever he is.
Oh, he's the head teacher.
Oh, the nice head teacher who gets skinned, unfortunately.
Yes. He's very nice. He's actually like a head teacher would actually be, which is good, because usually they just completely write head teachers wrong.
But that's it for the characters. We have a few other things to talk about that we've other thoughts about the show.
There's just one weird thing that all the child characters or teenage characters only seem to have one parent around. Apart from Matthias, although we haven't actually seen his parents, we just heard them shouting at him.
Yep.
In Polish, presumably.
I know it's Slavic. I think it's Polish because of his name and because there's a fuck ton of Polish immigrants in Britain.
Yes.
But he might be from Ukraine or some other place.
But Tanya only has a mum because her dad died of a stroke. April has her mum, and it seems that she's her carer, which would suggest that her dad isn't around.
Yeah.
Ram's dad is there, but we never see a mum. And then there's just Charlie, whose mum gets executed by the Shadow King.
Yeah, like, again, of course, both of his parents are presumably dead, but we don't ever get to see his dad, so we don't really know what's up, that he just had a mother only, or it's very weird with the whole parent thing situation. Hopefully that gets kind of elaborated. I mean, there's a lot of people who only have one parent or have their parents are divorced or whatever, but still, like, having some kind of explanation to that would be nice.
Yeah. I think one of the other problems is the info dump.
Oh my god, there is. I mean, hopefully they don't do this again. I hate info dumps. I read a lot, and reading YA is basically having a whole chapter that's 10 pages long that's just an info dump, and it's horrible. And it's the problem, of course, doing it on TV even more is that it's on a screen. You're supposed to do things visually, and they have that whole info dump about the Shadowkin, or not Shadowkin even. Actually, it's more an info dump about Charlie and Miss Quill's people. Which is, the nice thing about that whole scene is, of course, at the end of it, April is like, but what the fuck does this actually have to do with the Shadowkin? That's what I asked you about, not your whole sob story. She doesn't say it like that because she's, quote-unquote, too nice, but, you know.
I think the writing in the first episode, at least, had a problem with telling instead of showing.
Yeah.
Like, with Tanya's character, there's a point where she's walking home and then she speaks out loud that I have no friends, basically.
Yeah, like, she speaks her thoughts, and I think this is where the whole Patrick Ness thing doesn't work that well. It seems to be better in the second episode, but the good thing about, or not the good thing, but the thing that is at your advantage when you write books is that you can write people's thoughts. You can write your character's thoughts, and it doesn't seem weird. You can't really do that, well, you can't do that at all in a TV show or in a movie. You have to show thoughts in a different way, and one of the worst way to do that is to make characters speak their thoughts aloud, unless it's a special scene, and this isn't. It would have been a lot nicer if they had showed us in some way. But it doesn't come back in episode 2, so it might be something that's been worked through.
Well, she actually has friends in episode 2.
Yeah, I mean, she kind of has friends. At least just people who stick around with her, because...
Yeah. Another thing that we noticed was the age of the actors.
Oh my god, it's
so
horrible.
Tanya's meant to be 14.
She's not
She's
look 14.
Definitely older than us.
Yeah.
And we're 20 and 21.
Yeah, so, I mean, the issue is not that... I mean, there's always going to be this issue in most TV shows, unfortunately, that to get at least fairly strong actors, a lot of the time, when you're portraying teenagers, you have to rely on adult actors. But they could have chosen some that are a bit older. I think all of the actors are older than us, and there are easily actors you can find that are 19 or 20 or 21 that, like, could act fairly well. But also they could have chosen actors that looks young. There are actors who look young, very young, even though they're fairly old comparatively. And again, it's especially very obvious with Tanya, because she's supposed to be younger than the rest of them, and she looks older. And it's not because she's black at all. The others also look too old for what they're acting, other than Miss Quill, of course, who is supposed to act an adult.
Because if you take a normal 14-year-old and a normal 16-year-old, you can see the difference.
Definitely. There's a lot of difference between that.
If you had introduced Tanya without being like, oh, I'm 2 years younger, you wouldn't have thought that she was 2 years younger. You'd just be like, oh yeah, she's just another sixth form student.
Yeah, basically. So that the age thing is, of course, but that's not something they can change. It's just kind of unfortunate. Yeah. I think it's especially unfortunate with the character as April, because if her actor is not that good, they could have picked somebody younger and maybe even better than her at portraying her character. But I mean, the good thing is that they've stayed within like the same age range for all of the actors, at least, so that it's not that one actor who looks like way older than the rest of them. That would be really awkward.
Yes. Although there was, in the brief moments we got to see Charlie's mum, she looked like the same age as him.
Yeah, that scene was super awkward, and I don't know if that's gonna be explained later on, that like they have some weird age thing or whatever. But first we thought like wife, girlfriend, whatever. But
sister.
But yeah, after that we were like sister, because, you know, he did say, or imply at least, that he was gay, and you should believe the characters, even though we're old and jaded people.
Yes.
Who don't want to believe anyone, basically. But yeah, I mean, that's all our thoughts, really, about this show. I mean, comparatively to Doctor Who, this show has gone off with a really good start.
It certainly has potential, and it's more enjoyable to watch than Doctor Who has been currently.
Yeah, definitely. The unfortunate of it is, of course, that Doctor Who is basically setting the bar pretty low right now, so it's not difficult to pass that bar, even just a little bit. And I think they pass it more than just a little bit.
Yeah.
They pass it quite solidly. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of these shows coming out that are like, maybe they're actually just average or mediocre, but because the bar is set so low, people are really impressed. I mean, if you want another show, or another example of that, is definitely Shadowhunter's show,
yes.
Which we watched together. And I read the first book by Cassandra Clare, and I really liked the show, and you really did not like the show, but the difference is also that the book is really, really bad. So I was really impressed. I was like, this is a really good show comparatively to the book. But it's nice to see something can, like, pass the bar of Doctor Who right now. And it definitely shows that it's good that they're changing out showrunners. That they're changing out Moffat for somebody new. Even though Chibnall did write Dinosaurs in Space.
Oh,
but hey, I would gladly take a whole series of Dinosaurs in Space over what we're getting from Moffat right now. So, I mean, at least it wouldn't be all the plot holes.
I suppose so.
Just like a whole show that's just about dinosaurs on a spaceship, right? That would be amazing.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
If it was a comedy show, I mean.
Maybe. I don't know. But
well,
anyway.
The next episode is up now, or coming up later today, Saturday. So hopefully you're going to go watch that. We're not sponsored by BBC. I don't think BBC sponsors anyone.
No.
It would be lovely if we were.
BBC gets paid by the government, so it doesn't need sponsors. This has been Spoonlitters. I'm Emma.
And I'm Karen, and we'll see you next